Ladies and gentlemen, those between and those far out, longtime viewers and newcomers alike, welcome back to the Idaho Esports Twitch channel. My name is Kaz Phoenix, your graceful host for the Vandal pre-show. Today, I am joined by Dr. Lisa Salisbury, the Director of Strategic Operations for the Department of Student Involvement. Dr. Salisbury, welcome to the show. Welcome to the couch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
How's your day going so far?
It's going great. Yeah. I mean, apart from the snow and
a lot of snow.
Yeah, the weather's been pretty awful lately, but yeah, I've been having a great day. Thanks.
Well,
How about yours?
Good. I can't complain. I like the snow, actually. I know it's kind of gross looking like on the road, but if you just don't look down, it's great. You just get to see it like all coming down and like covering the trees and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, it is pretty. And I also grew up in Southern California, so when it snows here, I appreciate it more so.
It's kind of a novelty for you. Well, I'm a big winter outdoors person, so I love the snow.
Acknowledged. I don't know why I was blanking on a response from that. But I also, I guess talking about myself not being from Idaho, you are also not particularly from Idaho or the U.S.? Question mark?
No, I'm not. I am not from Idaho. I'm originally from England. And so I was born and grew up and did all of my schooling through the end of my undergraduate degree in England. And I moved to the U.S. right after I graduated college. Moved to southern Indiana and lived there for 7 years. And then my family and I moved to Mexico for 5 years, and we lived in Mexico.
Oh, my.
And then we came to the Palouse 20 years ago. So I kind of consider myself to be from Idaho now. When people ask me, where you're from,
I think 20 years,
Idaho's as good a place as any. Yeah.
I totally agree. And I mean, like, at that point, like, 20 years is like, you're from there at that point,
right?
It's like, I know the place like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Have you always lived in Moscow in the Palouse, or?
Yeah. We moved to Moscow. My husband got a job at Washington State University, and so we lived in Pullman for about 3 months. But we love Moscow. We bought a home here, and been here ever since. Raised our kids here. It's great.
That's wonderful. I love when I get to hear about people who like move here, that like raise families and stuff like that. I would argue that Moscow is a very nice place to raise a family.
It is.
But I did get a little bit ahead of myself, so I apologize about that. I'd like to do what I more formally call on the show the passing of the talking stick. Allow you to introduce yourself a little bit more to our audience, talk about what you do here for the university, and anything else that our audience might like to know about you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. So I've worked at the University of Idaho for 20 years now. I started in the Women's Center and worked there up until December 2024, when unfortunately the university had to close the Women's Center to comply with state legislation. But yeah, I love that job. It was my vocation, my heart work. I loved the connection with students. I loved the social action part of it. Yeah, so I miss it a lot, but I've landed in a good spot. I actually work for Student Affairs as the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Planning. And so that's a very long title and a fancy way to say that I do assessment and strategic planning, and I take care of any other kinds of projects that my boss, who is the Vice Provost for Student Affairs and the Dean of Students, Dr. Blaine Eccles, has
Oh.
me do. So, yeah, that includes things like I don't know if you've heard of the Student Coach of the Game program.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am in charge of kind of organizing that a little bit in
Really?
collaboration with athletics and, well, selecting the students who participate.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I'm kind of there's a big part of other duties as assigned to my job, but it's great because I have some creativity and I work with a great team of people in the dean of students office and the women's center actually used to be in student affairs. We moved to the equity and diversity unit in 2015,
Hmm.
but prior to that, we had always been part of student affairs. So in a way, it's kind of like coming home, I guess.
Well, this is very, very sweet. I
Yeah.
I apologize for introducing you under the wrong department because I think I remember seeing student affairs and my brain just remembered it as student involvement because
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Yeah.
Um, but Blaine is a very, very nice man. We've had him on the show before.
He is. He's
Uh,
great.
and I like getting to talk to other people from the department because the whole show is about introducing faculty to the space, talking about what we do here, what you do for work, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We've already gone through the Joe Schmo of it all.
Yeah. I know.
Um,
I'm honored to be here. Thanks for inviting
well,
me.
I'm glad you get to be here with us. Now I wanted to talk about really early on in your career what you were doing before you initially graduated from the University of Leeds.
Yes.
Um, in Spanish and Portuguese translation studies.
Yep, I did.
Uh, what kind of encouraged that? I don't know if it's like a blunt way to ask that, but I was talking to Wayne about it before the show, and I was saying that I found it curious that it was possible for someone to study the actual study of translating a language as opposed to just learning it.
Yeah, well, so there were all kinds of, different components to my degree program. So um, we studied history, we studied literature, but I minored in linguistics and phonetics,
Mhm.
which is kind of like the study of the structure of language. And then I was also fortunate enough to do an internship with the translation service of the European Commission
Ah.
in Belgium, in Brussels. And they have the biggest translation service in the world. It's huge. They have over 5,000 full time translators working in many different languages. I think I actually don't know how many working languages they have now, but at the time that I was there, I think it was about 12 or 15 and doing everything from translating documents into and between all of the different official languages of the European Commission, but then also doing consecutive and simultaneous interpreting for the European Parliament when it was in session. So yeah, I got to do that
Wow.
for 6 months, which was an amazing experience, and then really helped me to kind of launch my career after graduation. So I worked for 12 years before I came to gender equity work as a freelance translator and language consultant, which was really fun and also kind of lonely because you're in a home office by yourself,
Mhm.
talking with colleagues across the world, through your computer, but not. I didn't do a lot of interpreting
Mhm.
or I did some liaison interpreting, not a lot, mostly for a couple of universities that I worked for, helping students who didn't have a high level of English with kind of acclimating to the US and getting settled in their degree programs. Um, but yeah, that's an incredible skill that I I definitely didn't develop as much as I would have liked. So I did mostly translation work, so translating written documents
Mm.
from Spanish and Portuguese into English. Yeah.
I see. Well, this is very, very interesting. So you did that? Did you do that internship before actually going to university
No,
or
I did
after?
that after university. Yeah, and
Okay.
that was kind of what helped me to kind of launch my my career path.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Well, then that I guess leads me into my second question that is like kind of the precursor to that in a way. I was asking about like what sparked your curiosity into a language, into linguistics, into translation studies.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like it's such like a kind of niche
Yeah.
field of study and field of work
Yeah.
to want to go into. So I'm kind of curious about what led you into that path.
Yeah. So I grew up multilingual. I was really fortunate to have a mother who is Portuguese and spoke to me Portuguese as when I was a child. My father worked for the British Foreign Office,
Mm,
and so he traveled every couple of years to different countries. And so when I was 5 years old, when I started elementary school, essentially, my parents were living in Chile in South America, and I went to a Spanish speaking school. So I was already speaking Portuguese and English, and I added Spanish, and then a little bit later, when they left Chile and were posted to Dubai,
mm.
they
Wow.
uh, they had a friend, a Belgian friend, who was teaching French to kids on Saturday mornings in her house, and some of my friends were going and said it was really fun, and so my parents asked, would I like to go? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. And so I got to learn French as well. And so, um, yeah, so I think, my early childhood and adolescence was multilingual, and that gave me, I think, an entry into curiosity about how language is used for communication and commerce um, and sharing culture and all of those things. And I decided that I wanted to do that. And I also, originally I had wanted to be a vet, but I was really bad at math and science, it turns out. And so I just couldn't really get anywhere with that career path or that sort of aspirations to a career path because I wasn't good at the subjects that I needed to be good at. But I was really good at languages, and so I was like, oh, okay, well maybe I should focus on that.
Yeah, it's a skill I already have. I might as well just like do
Yeah,
something with it now,
yeah.
right?
And so yeah, the University of Leeds, and again, I don't know much about the program now because I graduated a really long time ago, like 32 years ago. And so the program may be very different now. But at the time, the University of Leeds was one of the few language programs in the country that offered Portuguese.
Really?
It was not a language that was commonly offered for study at university level in England in the late 80s.
I
And so,
That is so curious. I feel like it'd be somewhat more common just because of like Spain and the country right next to Portugal.
Portugal.
That is literally right
Yeah.
there. I don't the Obviously it's like right there.
Yeah.
I I mean, I would imagine it is maybe somewhat more common now, just because of, the regional population, but
Yeah.
I as you were kind of talking about, like, your interest in, the study of how language is used, I guess something I have a brief interest in as well is, like, how the use of language has evolved over time, and it's not like something I'm intensely studying, um, which actually leads me to my next question because obviously between your change career paths into your gender work with the university, and now more so into education and administration. Where do your educational interests lie nowadays? Because
Mm.
while you're working at the university for the past 20 years, you did pursue your master's degree, you did pursue your doctorates um, in different fields in the language studies. I believe your master's was
Yeah.
in adult organizational leadership
Yep.
and learning,
Yeah.
and your doctorate was in philosophy and education.
It was in curriculum and instruction. So
I see.
education with a specialization in curriculum and instruction. Yeah.
I see. And
Yeah.
you were talking to me a little bit before the show about how you claim to be a lifelong learner. Um, so like overall, I'm just kind of curious about how your educational interests have evolved alongside your career work.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean, my work at the Women's Center heavily influenced the fields that I studied for my master's and doctoral programs. And so I focused heavily on gender equity, on feminist movements, social activist movements. I'm extremely interested in anti-racism, particularly in anti-racism with a gender spin, so looking at anti-racist feminism and activism. I have been a sexuality educator for a long time.
Really?
I teach sex ed classes in the community to middle schoolers. And I also was one of the folks who designed a program that we had at the university for a really long time, which was a sexual health education forum called Got Sex. And so I have a very strong interest in inclusive sexuality education, which is something that's really lacking in the state of Idaho, and that we need desperately. And so my contribution to kind of challenging some of that is to teach a very inclusive sex ed curriculum to local middle schoolers.
It's like just
Um,
touching all the
Everything.
bases.
Well, everything. There's so much that is left out of, if you get any kind of sex ed in school, a lot of it pushes a very kind of abstinence only
Yes.
approach, and it completely ignores diverse sexualities and identities. And so the curriculum that I teach is very comprehensive, it's really inclusive, it's really fun to teach. I've learned a ton. The kids that I teach really resonate because this generation is so much more open about their identity and sexuality at a much much younger age,
Mhm.
and so yeah, of course they want to talk about that stuff, right? So yeah, that's really something that has been a passion project of mine that I find really satisfying and fun to teach. And then when I was in the equity and diversity unit, I was one of the lead diversity and equity trainers. And so I helped to develop and lead a lot of trainings for university colleges and departments on how to make their programs and spaces much more diverse and inclusive. And so that is something that I'm really passionate about also.
That is absolutely beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
for a lack of better words, I'm a big fan of woking it up.
Yeah. Me
Um,
too. Me too.
and
It's been my most of my career.
yeah, I mean, and it makes me so happy to know that there are people in a state like Idaho, for again lack of better words, that are really trying to make sure that the younger generation still has access to that kind of education that
Right.
is so important
It
to human
is.
health, to identity, to all these things that like make a person a person.
Absolutely. I agree. And, I mean, the extent to which we can do that work now here at the University of Idaho, obviously because of state legislation and the climate in the state, it's that that work has yeah, it's
Become
it's
a bit more difficult to
it's
do, I'm
it's become
sure.
a lot more difficult to do. But I kind of fill that void by doing a lot of that work in my community, and yeah, on my own time, trying to, you know, rabble rouse and cause good kinds of trouble when I can.
Well, it was very, very wonderful to hear. It was wonderful to talk to you today, Dr.
Yeah,
Salisbury. I'm glad that you got to join me on the show.
me too.
As a parting gift and as a thank you for joining me on the show, we would like to offer you a jersey
Oh my
coming straight from
gosh.
our program to
Thank
admit you as
you.
an honorary member of our Vandal Esports
Wow,
program.
I love that. And that's the same one that you're wearing? That
Yes.
is so cool.
One that I'm
I
wearing
love it.
because I'm preparing to do a broadcast after a class that I have to go to after this. But in the meantime, that's it that I have for the show tonight for the Vandal pre-show. I'm going to be bouncing it over to our casters tonight. Our Rocket League varsity team is going to be playing the University of Kentucky in their semifinal match for the season. They've been making huge waves in that bracket, so I'm excited to see them all the way this far. I'm hoping for goodwill tonight. You're more than welcome to stay and watch the games as you like. Car soccer is pretty easy to consume, thankfully.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, outside of that, I'm glad that you got to join us for today. From the Vandal Analyst Corner, this has been Kaz Phoenix and Dr. Lisa Salisbury signing out for tonight. Enjoy the games and V's up.
Howdy, everyone. How's it going? We are back after a short 1 day break, but we are back with another playoff stream. Today, we got our varsity Rocket League team playing in playoffs, and they are going up against the University of Kentucky in this semifinals match. I'll hand it over to Leaf with some more details.
So last week, our varsity team went up against Rochester Institute of Technology in the quarterfinals, and we actually swept them 4-0. So we moved up to the semifinals, and then hopefully, if we win today, we'll move up to the finals next week, Thursday, 5 p.m., same time for the stream. And kind of checking out the other team, the University of Kentucky, they're definitely, being in playoffs, they're a solid team. They have a lot of wins, and their players are both high-level grand champions that I could see, or if I found the correct people. But so it'll definitely be a challenge for the University of Idaho, is my opinion. But I have seen steady improvement from our Vandals across all of these games and all of these series. I think their rotations in particular have gotten a lot more in sync, and especially Zach, man, like, he's always been back in time to get a save unless something really odd happens, and he's been very consistent this season. He's had a lot of good plays. Jimmy has also had a lot of great goals. Mechanically, he's one of their best players, and then Logor also has kind of that aggressive sort of play style that you need for offense.
Yeah, and speaking more about last week, to me personally, that was some of the best Rocket League I've seen our Vandals play.
Yeah.
So it's definitely nice that they played that last week and in playoffs. Mm-hmm. So they're a bit more used to the playoff environment. But any team you're up against in semifinals of this league is going to be a tough matchup. So it is going to be super fun here. And I honestly, I guess we haven't seen too much of Zach Man recently. It's been some scheduling conflicts or just not being able to like show up to the game. And KX has been in there to sub for him, and KX has also played phenomenal. But I am curious to see what roster is going to come out, at least for this game number 1 of this series here.
Yeah, and a few times in our last playoff match, the quarterfinals, the roster switched up a few times, like mid-series. Like, it wasn't always Logor, Zachman, Jimmy. I think KX swapped out a few times in there. So their roster could very well change throughout this match.
Yeah, it's also nice to have a fourth player on the team that you can count on as a reliable substitute, and he's fit in very well. I know some teams, if they don't have like their 3, they probably weren't as prepared. So it's nice having 4 players. Hey, and maybe KX wins the 4th Man of the Year award this year.
Yeah, and it looks like from the screen here, Logor and I think it's Zachman are both still in a match, not fully in the lobby yet. We might be waiting for the other team. So you might be stuck with us yapping for a few more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, last week, all right. Do you think the Vandals were more of a defensive sided team, offensive side, or like just a good mix of both? What do you think their like strength was?
Last week, it was a mix of both, but Rochester, we swept them, I think, because Rochester they just weren't getting that necessary position to pull away with the win or possession of the ball. And because I think that's because the Vandals were being kind of so aggressive and they were having those follow-ups that the ball was on the side of Rochester more often than not, and that contributed to the Vandals' victory, I believe. So at least last match, we've seen some really good defense from them in the past, but last series, I think it was their offense that pulled through just because they were on top of that ball all the time and getting those goals and passing plays.
Yeah, when that offense starts to put the gas on the pedal, they go kind of crazy. When all those passes line up
Yeah.
and there's some good positioning. I think their biggest strength is the passing on offense.
Yes.
Especially in this league, they've been one of the teams that's like the most effective with passing from what I've
Yeah.
seen in all our matches.
Yeah, we've just had some great connections and great centers. Like, there have been so many astounding goals from the Vandals this semester so far, and it's really been a pleasure to watch all of them. So I'm really excited for this series, and I mean, as a Vandal, I hope that we win, but I also hope that we win just so I can see more of the varsity team next week before winter break.
Yeah, and taking a look in the chat, Ty Sendence, a regular. I always see Ty Sendence in the chat, so shout out to Ty there. He should get an award for being so cool, the Cool Award. Yes, and Shadow, go Vandals, rooting for you guys. Oh, thank you, Shadow. Oh my gosh, that really brought some joy to my day right there.
Yes, 100%. So, and in the past, it was kind of funny before playoffs. The previous match that the varsity played was actually against the JV team because the last team that they were scheduled to play against, they forfeited. So they kind of had a fun, rowdy little game against their JV team. And there was a lot of friendly hostility
Yeah.
in that chat. That was also quite hilarious to witness. So
Yeah, that was a fun game to cast as well. There are not really many stakes besides the stakes of the players' egos. But
and the trail mix.
and the trail mix, yep. No trail mix was given to the JV team, unfortunately. The varsity players hogged it all.
Yeah, so for context, Zach Man, I think at the end of the third game, varsity was up 3-0 to JV. And Zach Man was like, if you win the series, I'll give you my trail mix. And I mean, the JV team seemed genuinely inspired after that. Like, they won the next game.
Yeah, they started going crazy. They were scoring goals, being super competitive. And I was almost convinced it was going to be like a reverse sweep.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. And then Camo Leader in the chat says, I'm looking forward to seeing that Zach Man. We are too. We're excited.
Yeah, especially since he hasn't really been seen in these matches recently, and when he came onto the field last week, he only played like 2 of the rounds, but his impact was instantly felt. He got so many saves. There was one point, it was like the final minute of the game, and Zach Man had like 3 or 4 saves just in that final minute, just absolutely going crazy defending that goal. So we'll have to see what Zach Man ends up doing today.
Yeah, no, he's been a wizard on defense before, just pulling out those saves like it's nothing and just lunging for that ball and somehow making that connection, getting that save. And he's had some really great offensive goals. And one thing I do think is one of Zach Man's best traits is the fact that he seems like he always knows where to be. Like, if someone's not back fast enough to stop a goal, he's the one back at that third man position and kind of predicting the gameplay. But he can go up the field really quickly if need be and get those passing plays. He's had some really good, like if Logo or Jimmy centers the ball, he's had some really good follow-ups.
Yeah, he's kind of the glue, the anchor of the team right there. Sometimes Jimmy gets a little sidetracked, just absolutely going for the craziest tricks in the sky. And sometimes you need that guy in the back just to be like, you know what, you do you, but I'll just play it safe. You know, I'll be the one that plays it safe, not the fun way.
Yeah, and you need a mix of both players within a team. Like, you have to have a somewhat, especially in collegiate and pro Rocket League team, you need to have a somewhat aggressive play style just to maintain possession of the ball. But you also still need to cover your bases. You still need to have that good defense. So having kind of a mix of playing styles on a team can be really, really advantageous if you practice and if you understand all your different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, speaking about strengths and weaknesses, one thing that the Vandals have been a little better about in the recent matches is starting off on the right foot. Kind of in the middle of the season there, or most of the season, I'd say. The first 1 or 2 games didn't really feel like it was the full Vandals power. They either lost those rounds or there was just like hidden mistakes in there. But then as the series kept on going, they started heating up more. So we'll have to see if the Vandals start out super hot or if they're going to go back in their old ways. I'm hoping for hot. So
yeah, I mean, I think from what I've heard, this has been kind of a trend in the varsity team from past years. Like, we might lose the first 2 or kind of start out on the wrong foot and then come back and take the series win. And I mean, last week I definitely saw, or not last week, but the week before last, I saw a contrast in that. I mean, we swept them 4-0, but the Vandal, like, they've been on top of it a lot earlier on in the series lately. I would agree.
Yeah, and Camo Leader, y'all are a fun announcer team too. Oh my God, thanks, dog, thanks.
Yes, thank you. I mean, we're glad that you enjoy us just yapping about things the whole time.
Yeah, especially with no Rocket League game right now. They're still setting it all up. I know the communication between the other colleges sometimes gets a bit scuffled, but I'm sure they're working it out. But another fun fact is our Rocket League team has the chance to do something that only what I believe our Smash team has done this semester, and that's going to be try and win 2 playoff games. Smash continued. I think they will be. Oh wait, no, they did. Oh no, they didn't win. Oh my God, wait, did they win? Yeah, they won. They won. I'm mixing up. Yes, they won. So they are going to what I believe is semifinals, and we are already in semifinals for Rocket League. So yeah, weird that the bracket was bigger for Smash, but
yeah,
we roll.
Yeah, do you know any history for the Vandal varsity team in playoffs? Because I know we generally don't make it to finals, but we do generally make it to playoffs every year, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what happened last year. We were either a first or second round exit. I don't think we got too deep in there, but this time we're here. Hey, we're here and we're ready. We're here and we're primed.
We've been playing really strongly this season. I've seen a lot of great things from the Vandals, as I mentioned earlier. So I think we have a chance of winning this match. And the funny thing, we had a bit of a scuffle with another previous college, RPI, the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And if we do win this, we're probably going to go up against them again in the finals. So that might be a strange little coincidence, maybe kind of a comeback since we lost to them. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Hey, that storyline, that would be pretty fun to see right there. But yeah, for sure. And in the other side of the bracket, so we're against University of Kentucky. Can you see those names right there?
I think it's Juniata.
And another team are going to be facing off against each other. So we'll also keep you guys up to date on the game score if they finish before this match, which some teams do, some teams don't. But also, if you guys missed it or not, our JV Valorant team did do their playoff round for this week. They unfortunately lost, but it was only by like 1 point. Like it was so sad right there. But it was the most competitive game ever. It went to game 3. There was a overtime match in there and a crazy 9-3 comeback. So if you guys haven't seen that, I'd even watch like the VOD or something for that. That was such a fun match to watch, and I'm super excited for the future of our teams next semester.
Yeah, what kind of stuff goes on next semester that we can look forward to after winter break?
Well, we will be redoing the ECAC league. So we'll be doing just this regular ECAC league, but instead it's for spring. And usually, in the second semester, there are a lot more events we do. So there might be some streams we do on like Saturdays or something.
Yeah.
Some big time events, kind of like the Battle of the Borders from earlier on this year. Events kind of like that, and those are some of the funnest times. I know. I guess this is a real big event, but it's an event. We have a finals tournament next Thursday, and I'm pretty sure it's open invite. So if you want to play in the finals tournament, I would show up here next Thursday. I believe it starts at 7. So nice way to connect with fellow gamers in the community and just meet some nice friends. Wow, you crushed the competition, obviously.
Yes, we're always looking for new gamers and that sort of thing. Like, I mean, the esports lounge, its setup is amazing, and I would encourage anyone going to the U of I or like associated with it, or even if you're not, just like come check it out. We have a really cool setup, and I always absolutely love playing here. The internet is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Zipler. But yeah, there's just upgrades being made every single year. Like we didn't even have this room at the start of this year, and now we do. So I guess in 2 years from now we'll probably have like hoverboards and whatnot. So that would be super fun. So come now. So in 2 years maybe you'll get a free hoverboard.
Yeah, anything is a possibility. Yeah. And then it looks like in the chat we are waiting on an opponent to finish their match. So we're just kind of waiting on the other college. Logor and Zachman are just kind of chilling right there. So getting in some extra practice for the game.
Yeah, Fenrir in the chat. Oh, okay, so the opponent is just finishing up their match. New Steam VR headset, question mark? Oh, boy. I watched a Linus Tech Tips video for the first time in about a decade. It seems like about that. And it looks amazing. Classic Boofless in the chat. Yeah, I 100% agree. Oh, my gosh. Nothing you can say about our Vandals at all. Nothing you could use.
Yeah, we're never late, guys.
Never late. Us late? No. Never heard of it. But yeah, Steam VR headset looks sick. It's gonna be the best VR headset ever so far, and it looks light. And the thing I like about it is that they're doing like prescription lenses for
cool.
like people that wear glasses.
That's crazy, actually.
I know. I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, no, I love VR. I have no time to go home and play it oftentimes. Or over Thanksgiving break, I was going to do some VR, but I was sick. So I did not want to put the headset on and potentially give like germs to the rest of my family. So that was kind of sad. I love VR, but
wow, that's so responsible. I'd say screw the family. I'm playing VR. No, but I have a Oculus Quest. I just after like the first month or so, I feel like the hype kind of dies down a bit.
Yeah.
Beat Saber is so fun.
Yes,
I'm so bad at like beats and music and everything. I'm so bad. But Super Hot, oh man,
that one's great too.
I am like Bruce Lee up in there.
Yeah, Super Hot's a really good game. I absolutely adore Beat Saber. That's the game that I play the most, if not the only game that I played that game too much when on VR. I love that. I love it so much.
I had my grandma do it one time. and she got a higher score than me. I was like, oh, okay, time to retire the headset. And since that day, I never touched the headset again.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. Each VR game has. Oh, Camo Leader says do some nunchucks Bruce Lee style.
Oh, you know, I would, but as I said, I retired the craft. I retired the craft after Grandma did better nunchucks.
Yeah, and then from Ty Sendon says they should make Wii Sports Resort for VR. I 100% agree. Wii sword fighting and table tennis was my childhood.
They should make Rocket League VR. Just driving a vehicle, first person driving the vehicle. That would be awesome. What the heck? Yeah, you're welcome for everyone for that idea. But here we are. The yapping has stopped and the gaming has begun. Game 1 of this best of 7 series. Idaho versus Kentucky semifinals match. Winner goes to championship here already. A nice save from Logor there on the goal, and a putback right away from Spence gives Kentucky the early lead right here.
Possibly a bit of a fumble on the goal line there. It looks like Zachman was trying to come save that, but he might not have. He might have messed up a bit of a mechanic, and it kind of left Jimmy awkward and that net open. But it's 20 seconds into the match, so the U of I definitely has some time to come back. It's far from impossible. So far, it has been on the side of the Vandals a lot. But Zachman, he's trying to make something here. He's trying to get it upfield. Spence gets it around Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy, you aren't getting there in time. But Logor takes the ball up. Nothing really coming of it. Jimmy is here trying to center it, but it is just going to get cleared out right now. And so far, Kentucky doing a good job with offensive pressure, but the goal is opened up, and that's going to be a free one for Logor right there.
One thing I do want to highlight is that demo from Zachman there. Like, that might have saved the University of Idaho from getting scored on, because it can be really hard to predict and stop any infield passes, so the demo really pulled through, I think, on that one as well. So kudos to Zachman. Now Logor is going to try to come get a second.
Oh, that was so close to a double tap, and the follow-up is also going to be blocked here. But Jimmy trying to do something, doesn't quite make contact with the ball. And just a couple misses from the Vandals here so far in this first minute and a half of gameplay.
Yeah, we've been seeing a few double commits, a bit of awkwardness on the side of the Vandals. Like, their team play so far has been pretty good. I think their mechanics have been really solid. I think they've been awkward a little bit, like, rotation-wise. And Zachman, he tries to get the double tap. Jimmy almost puts it in there. They're seeking to disprove me now. They're like, you're going to criticize us? Look, watch this. Watch what we can do. And now looks like Jimmy gets a demo on the Chipmunk man, but they're going to pass it downfield. Spence kind of set up for the double tap, but it's knocked away by the Vandals. Zachman is going to carry it downfield. He gets it up. Nope, he doesn't get it above Bludgeoner, and Spence knocks it back down to the side of the Vandals. It's been pretty even so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, very even. Both teams have kind of... It started out with Kentucky with a lot of offensive pressure, then it's kind of leading more towards Idaho right now. But both teams playing fairly good so far, trying to develop these offensive plays is what they're going for. And there's just some good defense intercepting a lot of these plays right now. And with 2 more minutes, I expect to see a pretty defensive battle from here on out.
Yeah. Now Spence is going to try to carry it downfield. Chipmunk man follows it up even after a Vandal hits it, and he's going to try to hit it center. Jimmy clears it all the way downfield. Jimmy, and he almost connects with it again and gets the goal. But it looks like University of Kentucky gets there first. And now Chipmunk man is going to try to get it, but Zachman hits it to the center to Jimmy, who hits it in the corner.
Yeah, that is a classic Jimmy goal right there. If you leave him that open, he is going to accurately hit that in the side right there, going right above the defender. Just the accuracy on the shots that a lot of Vandals take are really nicely tapped in.
Yeah, and now they're going to try to keep up that offense, keep up that aggressive play, though they have to be probably a little bit careful. They have that goal, they have that lead, so they might just want to be a little bit more conservative. Pass to Logor, and it's barely saved away by Bludgeoner there. That was a great save. Zachman, he gets it around one, he gets it around Chipmunk Man, but Bludgeoner is there once again, and Jimmy can't quite get around it. Now Logor is going to take it away from Chipmunk Man. Bludgeoner again with the save. I might be pronouncing his name wrong, but I like the way I'm doing it for now. So.
Yeah.
Chipmunk Man tries to get it center. Almost a connection there, but the Vandals push it away once again. Jimmy gets it around Spence. Chipmunk Man is there to follow it up, but Zachman kind of has control. He hits it towards the net.
Oh, that's a very awkward hit right there. And, oh, man, that's some good clutch up defense from the Vandals after that mistake. And that was a golden opportunity for Kentucky, but the opportunity is still alive. The ball getting bumped up just a bit by Jimmy to save that goal. And Zachman there being clutch like his usual self, and Logor just dribbling it, wasting some time, doing some stalling. And, oh, Jimmy gets it in there for a third goal. And, okay, so he gets it up here and just lands awkwardly from both defenders. Uh-oh, that's a bit of a mess up from Kentucky. And that's not what you want to see when you're trying to tie up the game.
Yeah, definitely not. I have noticed I think one of the reasons the U of I defense was struggling earlier, though, was the fact that they had very low boost. Like, all of their members were on less than 25 for a decent amount of time, and that made them really struggle. But they definitely pulled through. They had some amazing saves over there. And if we do see any replays at the end of this, I would want to see some of those saves. And Idaho comes away with the first game. Speaking of great defense and offense.
Yeah, that was really good defense. It seems like their offense was their defense because the ball was mostly on the side of Kentucky. The time of possession was all there for the Vandals. It seemed like in the beginning Kentucky was going to have this offensive pressure a lot, but that was kind of lost, and Idaho really took that over, and it didn't allow Kentucky to make many good plays for the goal, and it was really hard to just set it up because there was always a Vandal midfield there to knock it around and start an offensive play off that.
Yeah, I think they played very strongly this game. I think they're still kind of, despite coming away with the win, I don't think they're playing their best right now, or at least they weren't within the first minute of the match, but they've kind of improved. It seems like they've gotten into their groove a little bit more. They've been able to solidify those rotations and get that offense down, and now Logor is going to try for something here. Zachman gets it, but Spence stuffs him, and it falls to Jimmy, who's going to take it up the side. Bludgeoner tries to come get it. He can't quite find its mark. Chipmunk Man is going to try to get it around. It gets to Logor, but Chipmunk Man manages to knock it away from the center. Zachman takes over. Oh, but it's barely saved by Chipmunk Man there. That was, and when another Vandal was causing chaos in the net too, that was a great little clutch save from Kentucky there.
Yeah, there's like one or two opportunities there I would have liked to see a follow-up from one of the Vandals to like maybe try and put it back, but they're playing a bit more cautious, which you should do. It is the start of the game. Don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. But here's that time of possession. It's just continuing on for Idaho. They're just keeping it on the side of Kentucky, and one of these shots that they are putting up is bound to go in eventually if Kentucky doesn't start to get this ball on the Vandal side.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some good defensive rotations from Kentucky, as showcased there with that save. but the Vandal pressure, if you let them keep getting shots on goal like that, eventually one is going to come through. Logor's was barely blocked there. Now Jimmy's going to try to come center. It's knocked away from him, so Zachman follows up. Logor passes it down, and Bludgeoner can't get there in time.
Wow, that was such a nice shot and a great setup from Zachman, just straight off the wall. And Logor could not have hit that more perfect in that corner right there. That is that ball placement I was talking about before from Idaho. It seems like all of them are such accurate shooters. And when they have a spot in mind on where to shoot the ball in the goal, they find it like a sniper in a war zone.
Now Logor off the backboard. Jimmy can't quite get the shot there. Looks like Zachman's going to try to follow it up, but Chickmunkman gets it over to Bluegunner, and it's knocked down the field. Jimmy and Logor, it looks like they had a bit of a double commit there, but Jimmy's taking it down now. Spence knocks it away to the corner. We've seen some good stuff from Spence and Chipmunkman so far. They have good gamer tags too. Chipmunkman is kind of iconic.
I like the Chipmunkman.
Yeah. Bluegunner, he might still be warming up a little bit. Actually, we did see a bit of a miss right there from Chipmunkman, so it might just be nerves because they have been playing decently, but they definitely haven't been playing their best. Like, the U of I believe, is playing superior to them right now, even if they had a few mistakes, a few missteps along the way. Ooh!
Oh man, there's that top right corner. It's like a magnet for Logor right there. He just always hits it there, and it goes right on in. Bluegunner didn't really have any boost there, but he kind of stopped the car. He could have made it there in time, but I think that was just more of a miscommunication with the defense on who was going to save that ball. But that mistake is going to cost them, but it's not going to cost Idaho. It's actually going to pay them another point. It's 2-0 now in this game number 2. And yeah, the only real time they were, oh man, that is going to go right on in. And Chipmunkman gets over there to the open goal. That first shot is going to get missed, but thankfully Chipmunkman was there for the putback.
Yeah, that was good work on Chipmunk's man. Wow, I can't say his gamer tag. It was good work on his part, and I think that follow-up really saved him there. And I think, honestly, the University of Kentucky need to have more follow-ups. So, ooh, down to Zachman, that almost went in. That was a nice redirect from Zachman there. And it looks like Jimmy is going to try to get that. Can't quite follow it up. Zachman is going to get stuffed. But Jimmy's going to come to the rescue, swooping in front of that ball. He's going to carry it downfield. Maybe tried for a bit of a musty there. Couldn't really tell. Bluegunner is going to have that. He's going to bring it down. Zachman takes control, but Spence is right there. And Bluegunner is going to get it center, but Jimmy knocks it away. And it's going to go to another Vandal and in!
That was just like a pinball machine right there. So from the goalie, Jimmy passes it up to Logor, and they know there's going to be an open goal since all 3 members from Kentucky were there offensively. And yeah, that was great transition offense right there, making sure there's no time for the defenders to rotate. And that's going to be another goal as well. I wasn't even done explaining the last one. But Zachman comes on in with the gracious help of Jimmy, places it on the silver platter, and yeah, bang, another goal right there. 1 minute left on the match, and Idaho is taking the lead by quite a large amount right now.
Yeah, they've definitely been in a favorable position. They've been getting some decent saves too. Logor had to leap back there, just lunge for that ball. Now Jimmy tries to fake out Chipmunkman, but Chipmunkman is not having it. Spence gonna try to get it forward. Zachman hits it, but Bluegunner has that save in the bag. He knocks it forward, and Chipmunkman is there to follow it up. Logor hits it. Oh, he doesn't. Bluegunner pulls away with that save again. We've been seeing some good defense on the side of Kentucky, but it just hasn't been enough to keep out the Vandals.
Yeah, it's really good defense in terms of blocking all the shots and stuff. Just not really like they clear it out and then it just goes straight to the Vandals' possession. There's not much there that they can continue offensively. But with 5 seconds remaining, all the ball has to do now is just touch the ground, and this game 2 is going to be over here. They're keeping it in the air, but it is going to tap, and Idaho takes the lead in the series 2-0 right now.
Yeah, 2-0, which is a great start. Not to jinx it. The last thing I want to do is jinx it, but great start for Idaho so far. Kentucky, I think they need to personally work on their follow-ups a lot more. Like, they need to get more possession of that ball. Like, that's really what's shooting them in the foot right now, I think.
Yeah, we did just see the stats on the scoreboard right there, and there was only 3 shots put up total for Kentucky in that game. That is something they need to quite work on, and if that's having someone with the follow-up, or just even try and center the ball, maybe not even go for direct passes or whatnot, just try and get the ball centered and then just send a person in there for the goal. I know it's like simple enough, but it just seems like they're dribbling it up and then one of the Vandals defenders just takes the ball and now the Vandals have it again.
Yeah, they've been trapped in their own half a lot of the game. And I think they really do need to start connecting with their players because they do have those good defensive rotations, but they have been kind of stumbling over each other a little bit. And it seems like they've really been flustered so far by the U of I gameplay and how aggressive like Zachman, Jimmy, and Logor have been so far. And speaking of aggression, Zachman is... Oh, Jimmy... Sorry, Logor.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy. He ran out of boost, and Zachman just brings it up. He bumps the 2 defenders to cause disruption, and that just opens up Logor for a nice layup right there. Oh, man. That is going to look great on film. Coach is going to love that one.
Yeah, we need some new clips. So, gotta get the style points, the good replays. Now it looks like, oh, Chipmunk Man barely got back there in time. He's going to clear it away. Not many people have boost on the side of Kentucky right now. And kind of a contrast to last game where the U of I were weak on boost a little bit. Looks like Chipmunk Man is going to knock it away. Logor soars up into the skies and gets that. He tries to redirect it center. Zachman takes over back to Logor. So he's bumped and kind of messed up there. Spence is going to try to dribble it past Chipmunk Man, but it doesn't quite come through. Bluegatter knocks it center. That's a bit of a dangerous position there, but luckily Spence is there to stop Logor's shot.
Yeah, that was a real dangerous bounce pass off the wall, especially near your own goal. Almost set up a Vandal goal right there. But Jimmy, with the demo, it doesn't quite open up anything offensively for the Vandals. And the ball gets hit right back to Zachman in the corner. And just like that, the ball was... Oh! Never mind. Okay. They still have the ball. And now here's some pressure. All right, Spence gets a goal on the side of Kentucky. A nice-looking one in that, hitting the top crossbar and bouncing itself right in there, and that's a goal Kentucky really needed right now to tie up the game.
Yeah, I noticed a little bit more pressure from Kentucky right there, as you were kind of saying. Oh, wait. A goal quick in response from Zachman. That's quick. Zachman's just like, you want to score? Let me show you how to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Everything Kentucky is giving, Idaho is just giving right back. And speaking of giving right back, Jimmy, just off the kickoff, I don't really even know what went wrong there. It just went past both Kentucky players that went for the kickoff, and the defender was too busy getting a boost, and that just opens the goal right there. And Idaho has another strong 2-point lead over Kentucky. Once again, Kentucky just always playing behind.
Yeah, quick shout out. There's a lot of people conversing in the chat right now. Thank you guys for showing up and commenting. It really makes announcing more fun, and it really helps us. It's nice knowing that there's support in the chat and there's people watching this stream.
It is, and okay, that one is going to be saved and just cleared out onto the Vandals side. Kentucky really needs to try and make something happen offensively here, but with the triple commit, there's no one midfield to gain control of the ball, and just like that, it's happening all over again. The ball is centered. Some good D to get it uncentered.
Yeah, it looks like Logor. Oh, possibly a whiff from Logor there. Zachman takes over, but he isn't able to get the ball to the other half. Luder leaves it for Chipmunk Man, who's going to try to get the double tap, but that's knocked away. Jimmy is slammed, exploded out of existence. Blue Gunner gets it around 1, past to Spence, but Jimmy is barely there, and he gets that save. The U of I defense has kind of been unrelenting, and Kentucky just hasn't had enough pressure to get that ball in the back of the net. Logor almost with the double tap there. The U of I, they've been relentless with their shots and plays so far this game. I think they're playing really well, or at least Kentucky might be having a bit of an off day.
Oh, yeah, that's an unfortunate one. It was a bit of an awkward angle, but you would have loved to see that one going in, and he makes up for it by making this in. I don't quite know what was going on with Idaho's defense right there, just caught in an awkward transition, no one really there by the goal. But that honestly opens up the game that much more for Kentucky. They only need one more goal to try and tie this up. If they want a better chance of winning this series, getting another goal, tying this up, and putting more pressure would be a good first step.
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy was a bit awkward on the side. Chipbook man.
Oh, man. That was crazy. He was like moonwalking straight to the goal, and it was working. It was juking everyone out.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of double commits from the University of Idaho defense so far. Zach, man. Gets the runaway goal down there. It looks like Kentucky just overcommitted a little too much, and Zachman just got it right around him like some sort of elite soccer dribbler.
Yeah, that looked exactly like that. It looked like Ronaldo going straight to the goal and getting a nice 50-footer in. And Zachman, oh man, continuing the Vandals' reign over this game. It is now 5-2. It seems like every time Idaho scores, it's always a buy one, get one free deal going on, and they always get one in the next 10 seconds afterwards.
Yeah, no, great plays from the U of I. Looks like they went for the fake kickoff there. Ooh, Logor off the ceiling. Great passing play. That was a great setup to get the kickoff in favor of the Vandals. But a few demos mean that Kentucky could have the advantage, but the ball is knocked away. If they can keep up this offensive strategy and keep the ball in the Vandals' half, it might bring them some hope, or at least get them a little bit of momentum. They have been scoring a few goals, but it's just not enough when it comes to the Vandals. You need to really pressure them, really get them awkward so their defense falls apart in order to score a goal.
Yeah, goal was almost opened up there. Logor thankfully was there on the side of Idaho, and a nice shot on goal, but it is just going to be a crossbar. But Logor doesn't believe in crossbars, and he gets it right in. 6-2. Idaho just making it known that they are the dominant team right now. And with 5 seconds left, this game 3 is, unless if God comes down to earth right now, it should go to Idaho Ball just needs to tap the ground, and just like that, it's a 3-0 lead for Idaho in this series. It is now game point. Kentucky needs to reverse sweep if they want to win this one.
Yeah, and it looks like Kentucky had some more shots this game. They had 9 shots on goal, and then Spence got their 2 goals. But in comparison, the U of I had 13 shots on goals, so their aggression and kind of their possession and control of that ball and of the match play in general is really showing through in the stats.
Yeah, for sure. Kentucky, they had some good shots on the goal, but the Vandal defenders really had some nice saves. The great shots from Kentucky were actually saved, and a couple of the, I guess it was, one was an open goal, and the other, I forgot what the other was, but it wasn't the craziest shots that went in, which is pretty funny. Their good shots were blocked, and their just wide open goals, I guess, went on in. But I think that's just a testament to the Vandal defense right now. They are playing lights out defense.
Yeah, I think the Vandal, I think they have been making a few mistakes though. Like, I've seen a few different double commits on defense, and the rotations don't seem as on point sometimes, but I think Kentucky has just failed to capitalize on that. Yeah, now Zach Man is going to try to carry the ball downfield. Oop, it looks like he fakes out Spence. He gets it around Blue Gooner, but Chipmunk Man is there to save the day. And oh, it looks like KX is in game now.
Camo leader. I don't know. Maybe they're just having a fun time. You never know. Sometimes it can boost those gaming skills. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, pass to Blue Gooner there. He just he doesn't quite get it. Chipmunk Man shot kind of off the crossbar, gets saved away by Logor. Blue Gooner, kind of an awkward pass down to Spence. Zach Man with the save again.
He's just so clutch. He's our little clutch baby here at University of Idaho. Oh man, Zach Man, he's good, old, reliable right there. And KX is in the game trying to make his presence known, but the defender gets there right in time. Try to make something happen there at the end, but it just didn't happen.
But Chipmunk Man, it looks like Kentucky passing play did come through. He knocks it over to the side, and then he follows that up. KX can't quite get it in time. Blue Gooner was there for extra insurance too. But that was a great start for Kentucky. So they might have the momentum now to win that game. And maybe they were the first 3 losses might be just warming up or something like that. And now Chipmunk Man, he's going to try to carry it away. If I remember correctly, him and Spence are the most talented players on that team with the highest ranks. Now Logor is going to carry the ball downfield, kind of maneuvers it around Blue Gooner, tries to get it to Zach Man, but that's intercepted. KX almost puts it in, but the shot's blocked away by Blue Gooner. And now Spence is going to try to carry it to the side. The Vandals have been maintaining that pressure, like after that brief kind of mishap on their part at the beginning of the game. Like, they've really been on point again, and they've really had that offensive pressure. But they haven't yet scored a goal.
Yeah, I think that's what Kentucky really has to do in this situation now. They're not getting many offensive possessions, so the offensive possessions you do get, you just got to make count. And right now, it's working if you can just block 20 different shots on the goal.
Oh!
There's some weird saving right there from Logor.
Yeah, that was some great shadow defense from Logor there. He didn't have much boost, but he was still able. Oh! And another miss from Chipmunk Man, sadly.
Yeah, there's a couple of those shots on the side of Kentucky that's just been hitting the crossbars and just a little bit off. So you always got to make sure you have that pinpoint accuracy. And just, again, it hits off. But this time, Chipmunk is there. to get it in the goal, and Kentucky has a 2-0 lead, the biggest lead that they've had all series.
Yeah, and that was a great hit from Spence there. Great follow-up, and I think it might have just been a little bit of a nerves thing because Kentucky's definitely getting back into the groove. And now Zach Mann, KX is going to connect with it downfield. The U of I offense is kicking in again, but Blue Gooner is going to try to clear it away. Logor gets it first, and Spence is going to hit it down. We've had a lot of, I still think the U of I, the ball has been in Kentucky's half. They've kept it there with their offense more often than not. They just haven't been able to get a goal this time around. I think they've had less shots. I think Kentucky has been quicker at stopping their attacks and stopping those passing plays in the bud before they even get the shots on net, which can be difficult, but they are managing it thus far, and they do have a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they're adapting to the Vandals' play styles. They're noticing the Vandals like to go on the sides and try and pass it to a teammate, but they're just disrupting the passing lanes and just being very pressureful on that ball. And Blue Gooner gets it in for what I believe is his first goal of the series. And it's a nice one right there. Gets it right past the Vandals defense. Vandals defense just a bit too slow for that one. And this game is pretty crazy right now. Okay, Zach Mann gets the first point on the board for this game. And so many points from Idaho has just been like within 5 seconds from the kickoff.
Yeah, they've had a lot of kickoff goals, I think.
The kickoff strategy or defense for Kentucky isn't really clicking right now, or maybe it's the Vandal strat that's. Oh, okay, never mind. Forget I say anything. They just returned the favor. They just threw my whole point against me off the ceiling, off the floor. Blue Gooner gets it in, and it's a 4-1 game, and this is the type of game that can have an impact on the series. This could be a mental breaker or a mental starter for Kentucky, depending on which team you are on. Logor flying on in is going to be defended nicely.
Yeah, I mean, one of the possible reasons for the U of I having such a, not necessarily worse performance, but for Kentucky's goals is KX just switched out, so they might need a moment to get used to kind of that new player dynamic. They've had a lot of practice playing with KX, but it might just be kind of a shift up sort of a thing, maybe some different communication in those rotations or something like that. But the demos have been, and the bumps have really been helping Kentucky now, and it looks like they are going to pull away with the win 4-1 in this fourth game. I had to do math for a second and it wasn't working.
Yeah, the heartbeat monitor is still ticking for Kentucky. They are still very well in this game. Got their first game of the series, and it's not over till it's over. It's playoff season. I've seen some crazy things happen against our Vandals. What are Vandals doing something crazy? I've seen everything in playoffs. So I'm trying to see something I haven't seen. You know? Oh, but okay, KX I think just goes straight off, and Vandals are just going back to what was working before.
Yeah, it looks like Jimmy is going to be subbed in for KX again. I'm not sure why, if Jimmy just had to take a quick break there, or if, because he is one of our remote players, so he's attending U of I online, so he wouldn't ever be in the esports lounge, unfortunately. We love to see players in here. But, so he's attending remotely, so maybe he just had a bit of an internet mishap or something like that. But now that is the start of match 5, and it's currently in favor of the University of Idaho. They are up 3-1 in the series. But Spence and Chipmunk Man and Blue Gooner of Kentucky, they might have something to say about that. They might come back for a reverse sweep, however, possibly improbable. Now Blue Gunner is going to take it up the side. He's going to try to bring it, kind of brings it center. Zachman takes it over. Chipmunk Man a little awkward here, but he does get the touch. Logor is going to bring it to the corner and towards the center. Lots of touches, lots of kind of chaos, especially in the corner between both teams. Jimmy, it gets center. The shot is blocked or knocked off target by one of Kentucky. Couldn't quite see what happened there. But Logor is going to knock it away from the U of I defense, or the U of I net. And looks like Jimmy's going to try to pass it to the corner. Nothing's really been happening thus far. As soon as I say that, it's going to, like, something, oh.
What? Okay, that's actually crazy right there. I guess it might have been the perspective. I feel like Logor might have been able to get there, but he was backflipping. Did he have boost?
He did a half flip. I think the ball was just a little bit too over his head, and even the half flip couldn't quite pull it through. So Kentucky's leading 1-0. They've had quite the start so far in these past few games. A lot better. They've been playing a lot better. They've had a lot more initiative than before. Jimmy, however, he gets it around Spence. Blue Gunner barely pulls away with the save there. That was some good mechanics from Jimmy. Another great save from Blue Gunner, but Jimmy is there to put it in and deal the final blow.
Yeah, maybe all Idaho needed was Jimmy back on offense to put it right on in. But, man, that great display of the power of follow-ups. It was just shot after shot after shot. And it's bound to go in eventually after that many follow-ups right there. And Vandals get the ball offensively right away again here.
Now Blue Gunner is going to try to bring it center. He does, but Logor does knock him off the ball. Jimmy catches up with it. He passes it center. Zachman tries to hit it. Logor tries to follow it up, but it is saved away by Kentucky. And now Jimmy is going to almost connect with Zachman there, but it's not quite going to go in. Sped just to clear it to the corner.
Yeah, and Idaho has been having this ball on Kentucky's side for a large majority of this game. It seems like the offense is back in motion with Jimmy here, but offense for Kentucky trying to make something happen, but with very little amount of boost, it is going to go straight to their side. The boost management, when they are turning offensively, it just seems like they're running out of boost so fast and not getting any refills on those, so that's stopping the possessions short.
Yeah, the boost management has been interesting. I think both teams have had moments where they're really low on boost, and the other teams have capitalized that. But it looks like everyone's decently plentiful right now, and now Logor is going to try to carry that upfield. He gets it center, but there's no one really in the corner to follow it up. Jimmy zooms over there. That might have been a whiff from Jimmy. It's kind of surprising. Jimmy is normally quite on top of things.
Put KX back in. Unbelievable, Jimmy. Joking right there. But, yeah, it is a super close game right now. Jimmy gets the put back. And, okay, so it gets flung over there by Jimmy himself. This is a one-man army. Gets the double bounce off the wall and just straight into the goal, playing defense into offense. And Jimmy has both goals for Idaho. He's just such a crazy playmaker in this game called Rocket League.
Yeah, I think he just wanted you to prove you wrong. You were like, gotta sub in KX, and then he was like, nah, watch me score these goals.
Yeah.
And a demo from Chipmunk Man is going to carry the ball onto the side of the Vandals. Chipmunk Man's trying to pass it center, and things are looking kind of awkward on both sides. A few people kind of mistouching the ball, not quite getting the touches that they want, and Jimmy's going to try to carry it back down. He can't quite do it, and the ball goes to the corner of the U of I. Logor is going to try to carry it to the center. He can't quite make it. Spence takes over, and it's almost in, but someone gets the save from the Vandals, and it looks like Zachman is going to bring it to the other side, and time is running out for Kentucky. Each second that passes is a second in the losing side. They need a goal, otherwise they are going to be kicked out of playoffs.
Yeah, that goal was just a little bit off for Jimmy, but 20 seconds remaining and the ball is just floating in front of Kentucky's goal. Spence passes it to his teammate Logor with the nice save right here. 10 seconds now. It is on the side of the Vandals. A crazy demo at the goal for Kentucky here. The ball is in the air. Chipmunk Man tries to shoot, but the Vandal defense holds, and Idaho wins the series 4-1.
Yeah, that was a crazy semifinals, guys, but we are officially on for next week, and we will be in the finals either against Juniata or against Rensselaer Polytechnic Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. So very exciting, and we'll be definitely excited to see you guys there.
And yeah, the Vandals, so they start out super strong.
Yeah.
It slowed down a little bit. It might have been in part of just changing up the team synergy and stuff by throwing in different players. But for the most part, the main three, Zach Man, Jimmy, and Logor, they all had their moments to shine. Zach Man getting some nice saves. Logor getting some real accurate goal shots for sure. And Jimmy just showing the offensive pressure that man holds all by his lonesome self on the field. It's crazy.
He can do crazy things with that ball. Shadow8691 says, the Vandals rock. Way to go, boys. Yes, way to go. Great job to varsity team for making it to the finals. And then Road Shack and Cameliner both say, good game. Great games, guys. We really enjoyed casting.
Yeah, great game. I'll enjoy a great drink after this stream. Monster Energy, for those of you that don't know. Super awesome drink, super tasty, and it just keeps me energized. It'll keep me going on. And make sure I don't fall asleep right after the stream. And I can go back and grind some homework.
We got finals coming up.
We got finals. We need Monster Energy, our savior right here. And speaking of savior, if you want an internet savior for your awful lag, go to ziplyfiber.com/students for plans as low as $10 a month for super fast, lag-free internet. That's relatively cheap and a great option for college students. But, oh boy, we are making it to next week, baby, into the Rocket League Championships for our division.
Division B.
Yeah, Division B. This has been such a fun series and a fun season to watch, and am excited to see Idaho in championships next Thursday.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting some replays here. Awesome goals on the side of both teams. That was kind of off the crossbar for Spence there. And Spence with another one. He had a lot of great goals. And Blue Gunner, nice placement.
The Kentucky highlights here. Okay, yeah, Blue Gunner. This was a nice goal from him.
Yeah.
I will not lie. That was definitely one of the best goals for Kentucky. And it seems like it was a couple hero plays here and there for Kentucky offensively. It just didn't seem like it was always like a team effort. As of Vandals, they always had those follow-ups. And, yeah, it was great. It was great. I am excited to watch this team.
Yeah, I'm excited for finals, and I'm really looking forward to all of this, and I'm excited we get to continue during Rocket League in the spring. Do you know if there are any division changes ever, or are we just always Division B?
I think it's determined every semester. So at the start of every ECAC season, I think they create the league, switch it up however seems fit. So we'll
Nice.
probably go against different opponents next semester, but we're worried about this semester right now, and if we win championships next Thursday, make sure to be there for that stream. Show your support. I want to see all you guys there, all right? I want to see you guys in the chat. Hey, maybe even come to the esports lounge to show your support in person. But that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you all. And it's a V-dubs. It's been Bradical, joined here by Leaf. And I hope you guys have a great rest week so you can enjoy the next playoff game. See you guys.